singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverend air.
Am I on now? Please join us in singing I Am Home.
I am home, I am home. I have traveled far along this road, and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom, in the love Welcome to Unity, spirituality with open hearts and open minds. And I remember the very first time I went to a Unity church. It's over 30 years ago now, I guess. And I just sat there in the service and wept because I felt like I'd finally found home spiritually. I found my tribe and my people. And then 20 years ago, I came here. And this is my home, Lane's home, with all of you, and I can't think of a better family, so I love you all. Oh. We are home with each other, and I'd like to open today as we prepare to light our Christ candles with a beautiful prayer of awareness. And this comes from Praying with the Earth, the prayer book for peace, by John Philip Newell of my beloved Iona, Scotland. Light within all light, soul behind all souls. At the breaking of dawn, at the coming of day, we wait and watch. Your light within the morning light, your soul within the human soul, your presence beckoning to us from the heart of life. In the dawning of this day, let us know fresh shinings in our soul. In the growing colors of new beginning all around us, let us know the first lights of our heart. Great star of the morning, inner flame of the universe, let us be a color in this new dawning. We are the covenant of the rainbow, colors in a new dawning this day. So let us sing our chant. If you're with us on Zoom, you are absolutely with us here in spirit. We welcome you. And if you'd like, we welcome you to light your candle at home as we light the Christ candle here, symbolic of the divine within everyone and all of life. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Oh, and so this day, as we celebrate that I can't believe it, it's been 20 years that Lane and I have been here, I want to dedicate this service to all of the amazing souls who have ever been a part of Unity here in Port Townsend. From the very beginning study group to when they met at the community center, to when I came when we were at the Masonic Hall, and then as we created this spiritual building as a spiritual home for all of us, we've done it together. There have been so many wonderful souls who have departed that have been a part of this. Oh, so many. Megan, Michael McKee, Enza McCormick, Wendy and Norm Stevens, Jeanette Best. I could go on and on and on. Miriam Holquin just said, "Don't forget me." Miriam. And so there have been so many, and they leave their legacy here. And this last week, our beloved Cecilia's wife, travel partner, best friend, life partner, made her transition back to spirit on Wednesday night. And I was blessed to be there for both of them. And we see her soul continuing to bless and grace the world, even as all of those other people that we've known and loved who are now in spirit continue to bless us. We carry their legacy forward. They truly are colors in the shining of our hearts this day. So I dedicate this service to all of those, all of you who are present here, co-creating this spiritual family with dedication and with love and with faith. And I dedicate it also to all of those who are yet to come, that unity will bless. May they feel the light of this place calling them home to where they belong with their spiritual family that we know as unity. So a service dedicated to all that has been, all that is, and all that is yet to be. Do you think that's big enough? And with that, we need a high vision. So I invite you to stand. They asked what music I might like today, Clara, last Sunday. And this is one of my favorite old Celtic-based hymns. And I love the words. And so I invite us all to sing, "Be Thou My Vision."
Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart. Not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thy my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, and I thy true Son. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one.
Be seated.
So 20 years in the making. 20 years ago, this young lady stepped up to the podium and said something along this line. She says, "I'm here to build with you a church on a solid foundation that's inclusive, that brings forth the best in all people, and is grounded in spiritual truth." So she helped us to realize that the divine operates in, through, and as each one of us. She used the Bible, the Quran, the Tao Te Ching, the teachings of Buddha, the early church, Celtic Christianity, and other sacred texts and traditions to explore the universal nature of spirit, regardless of tradition. She used contemporary writings, sages, and mystics to explore and reveal this great mystery we call God. She shared the podium with clairvoyants, empaths, shamans, Buddhist monks, yogis, as well as people that just had a story to tell or an experience to relate. She expanded our knowledge. She challenged our assumptions, introduced us to new traditions and ways to view spirit, all in an effort to raise and expand our consciousness. She held us in deep prayer and meditation. She took us on spiritual journeys, both at home and abroad, Scotland, Italy, France. Over 20 years, she's inspired our own understanding of the ultimate reality. She taught and demonstrated universal principles, prosperity, the law of circulation, cause and effect, the power of mind, of individual mind and collective mind. From Genesis to Harry Potter, from Winnie the Pooh to Rumi, finding God, Spirit, and the divine in and through all, finding spiritual truth in everyday circumstances. She shepherded us through our deepest grief. She celebrated our greatest joys. She wore ruby slippers, Christmas skirts, and a witch's costume. Through it all, she stayed true to that word that 20 years ago. She built a church, a spiritual community where each one of us is a foundation that is steeped in spirit, that is inclusive of ideas, of individuals and traditions, that which calls the best of us individually and as a collective, and is grounded in universal principles and with an open heart. I personally have watched Rev Pam adapt, expand, explore, and hold the highest and best for herself and each one of us. I shared with her my home and my heart. What's going to do with this?
Oh, me too.
Get to the heart part.
You want one of my Kleenexes?
Oh, shoot. That's why I'm kind of reading this, because I didn't think I could do it extemporaneously. Anyway, she is my spiritual mentor and a confidant. What we have here today is a rarity. To have a minister who for 20 years stayed in the same place and continued to bring fresh ideas and viewpoints and into the exploration of the divine, operating in and through and as each one of us and as our shared world. We are so blessed. Thank you.
I'm
And
just
that
going to
fits the
sit up.
daily
I'm
word,
just going to
too.
sit up here and cry now.
So, joy. What a joy.
Joy.
What a joy to be in a place that allows all of this to occur simultaneously and to benefit us individually. It's pretty cool. God's joy blesses each day of my life. I'm going to have to read this way. Change fonts. The aroma of my favorite foods from childhood brings happy memories to my mind. Hearing a voice of a dear one warms my heart. Looking upon a newborn's face for the first time evokes a feeling words cannot describe. While the giddy excitement of a child's joy may not be a memory for me, the joy I know today still delights me. Each day I embrace more completely the joy of knowing that I am a living expression of God. God's life lives as me. God's wisdom is within me, my guide to deepening understanding of myself and the world around me. The love I share with people who are dear to me is God's love, living in each heart and expressing through each one of us. With greater joy, what greater joy could that be? And from First Theologians, rejoice always. God's joy blesses each of us, each and every day. And so it is. Amen.
Oh, so now we're blessed to settle into that favorite space during the service where we settle in side by side in this circle of people that we love and that love us as we settle into a few moments of prayer and meditation together. Let us take our beautiful sanctuary chant that reminds us that we're blessed to have this outer sanctuary that we've co-created, but that the world is our greater sanctuary, our greater cathedral, and that just as it's infinite out this way, it's infinite within as well. For within each of us is that sacred place of the Most High, where we can go within and commune with the divine, however Spirit gifts us through imagination and through remembrance of sacred places, real and visioned. So let us sing sanctuary, knowing that that concept of sanctuary is with us always.
Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you.
Settle into this moment. Feel the sacredness all around you and within you. Feel your soul singing its song through your body, through your mind, through your heart, through your unfolding life. Each of us came into this world blessed and blessing, each one unique, but all sparks of divine light. Each one of us choosing to be present in this world here and now, bringing our gifts to share and our openness to receive the gifts of others, bringing the wisdom that has come to us and opening to the wisdom of others, feeling the divine presence in infinite forms, from the beauty of nature to the variety of animal life and plant life, to the infinite variety of humanity. We are so blessed because in this life journey, we need not walk alone ever. The presence of God is always and forever with us and in us. It's there at a level of spirit, but it also shows up embodied in the presence of others with whom you share your world. This is what adds richness and meaning and joy to the unfolding of our lives. Let us take a moment and each one within give thanks in this moment for all of those who touch you and inspire you and comfort you, and those that you have touched and comforted and inspired. Recognize how huge this wonderful circle of unity and love truly is. And now, in this sanctuary of belonging, bring yourself and your life exactly as you are this day, and open to receive all of the healing and energy, all of the comfort and tender loving care, all of the insight and wisdom, all of the inspiration and peace that you require this day in this moment. Simply open to ask and to receive, for as soon as you ask, the universe is responding. Open now to receive all you need to bless you this day, that you might bless the world with your presence. And now, having received, allow yourself to be a channel of gratitude and love. And from this space of oneness, I invite you to uplift all of the prayers that are yours this day for yourself, others near and far, this spiritual family, Port Townsend, our nation, our world, and the realms beyond. Pour forth your prayers now into this sacred chalice of prayer that is the hearts of all who pray together with you this day. Silently or loud, however you are so guided, let us pray. Unity of Port Townsend, coming journey, and we bring into this sacred chalice also all of the prayers entrusted to our High Watch prayer chaplains, those written, spoken, or sent soul to soul. And we send a special blessing this day to Sweet Bo. May the journey and adventure that she loves so much in this life continue into the next realm. May the angels lift her into the living light and into the sounds of music that she loved so dearly. And we lift also our beloved Cecilia, putting our arms around her in every way, reminding her that the love that brought them together will keep them together always and forever, ever, beyond that veil. Love transcends everything. May we each send love this day to Cecilia and Bo, to all of those who've been a part of this spiritual family in the past, in the present, or yet to come. And in this place of hopeful expectation, hear now the words of one of my favorite psalms from Nancy Merrill's Psalms for Praying. Psalm 91. Those who dwell in the shelter of infinite light, who abide in the wings of infinite love, will raise their voices in praise. My refuge and my strength, in you alone will I trust. For you deliver me from the webs of fear and illusion, from all that separates and divides. You protect me as an eagle shields its young. Your faithfulness is sure like an arrow set upon its mark. I will not fear the shadows of the night, nor the confusion that comes by day, nor the dreams that awaken me from sleep, nor the daily changes that life brings. Though 1,000 may deride this radical trust, 10,000 laugh as I seek to do your will, yet will I surrender myself to you, abandoning myself into your hands without reserve. For you have sent your angels to watch over me, to guide me in all my ways. On their hands they will bear me up, lest I dash my foot against a stone. Though I walk through those who roar like a lion, or as stealthy as the adder, in your strength will I endure. And the response of this divine presence: because you cleave to me in love, I will deliver you. I will protect you who call upon my name. When you call to me, I will answer you. I will be with you in times of trouble. I will rescue you so that you will know my peace. All through the years will I dwell in your heart as loving companion presence forever. And so feel in your heart the presence of loving companion divinity, ever a light for you and for our world, through you. We give thanks for this time of prayer and meditation together, and we are grateful that each and every one of us is a light bearer called to let our light shine. May we do so with renewed dedication and clarity. Let us seal this by once again singing Sanctuary, and as you do so, recognize you are a sanctuary as well. We behold that and are in such gratitude for your presence in our world. Sanctuary.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary. Prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary
And so it is. Om, amen, and blessed be. Namaste. I behold the divine in each and every one of you. And now, Janice Stanfield is joining us.
If I could look down on this path I walk from somewhere way up high, I could see the crooked road that I have come. I walked a mile with sorrow, I walked a mile with joy, and now I'm less afraid of either one. For every tear I've cried, there's a smile that I have earned. For every smile I walk, there's a lesson I've learned.
You can join us on this part.
I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying. Though I may not know where I'm going, I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. Some people choose to live their life on quiet avenues, while others find their place in the parade. Some like me are seekers, we take less traveled roads, believing we can find a better way. And though I get discouraged, I won't be turning back. I have joy as my compass and faith as my map.
Ready?
I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying. Though I may not know where I'm going, I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. All of us are headed for the same destination, so why not blaze a trail that's got imagination? I am not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying. Though I may not know where I'm going, I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring.
Woo! Hey. That's kind of the story of my life. I've always loved that song. I said, you got to do that one. I'm not lost, I'm exploring. From the time I was born, I very early on through my brother Doug was initiated into what I call a life of service. So this dedication to being of service to the world has just kind of been my journey. And my dad, who came back from World War II and believed that you went to school, you got a bachelor's, PhD, and master's in the same field. That's what you did. That was the logical thing to do. And then he has this daughter who I debated between going into nursing and special education when I went off to college. And my parents said, "You can't be a nurse." And I said, oh, why? They said, "You're scared of needles." Good point. And they said, "You have too tender a heart." Isn't that interesting? So I ended up doing special education. I got a degree in deaf education, and I ended up teaching multi-handicapped deaf children and various kinds of multi-handicapped children. And so I did that, and I loved that. And one of the things I found, though, was that when we needed medical care, there was nobody in the medical industry that seemed to feel comfortable, or very, very few. And so I got this stirring to go back to school. And I decided I wanted to become a nurse. My parents had the same reaction. And I said, "I'll get over the fear of needles." And I said, "And you know what? I believe, do I have a tender heart? Absolutely. But I think if I can walk through things with people and hold them in my heart, it will be worth it. It's a calling. I need to do it." And they said, "Okay, Pam, you take the summer and you go work as a nurse's aide. And if the end of the summer, when you've done the scut work, you're still interested, then we'll talk." Guess what? Loved it. And I went back to school and became an RN. And I worked in a variety of things: pediatric ICU, school nurse. I became the deaf education nurse for the Dallas School District while I was working as a ministerial assistant at Unity just before I went to ministerial school. And I did case management. I ended up in the corporate insurance thing doing case management back in the day when you could make a positive difference. That shifted dramatically. And I was about ready to resign, and I got laid off because we had a corporate buyout and restructure. My best friend Kay had been diagnosed with a brain tumor. I've shared this, given brief time to live. And so I thought, if I was going to do anything, what would I do? I loved my volunteer work as a hospital chaplain at Parkland. So life unfolds, and I get to go to Unity Village. And I go in October, and when I go back in May, I get the calling to apply. So I did, and much to my surprise, I was accepted. In the meantime, I'd met Lane. I'd sworn I was never going to go back to Texas, and I meet a Texan. Spirit has a great sense of humor. So I went to ministerial school, and when I applied, I said, "I don't want to do a church. I want to do an alternative ministry." And they say, "You can't say that in the interviews or you'll never get in." So I went for a long walk at the lake, and I was like, I've got to be spiritually honest. If it means I don't get in, I don't get in. I've got to be honest. So I was, and Anne Marie and I sat next to each other. Some of you have known her. We opened our letters in the chapel. They brought all of us in after the interviews and the tests and the panels, and we each got an envelope. And they said, "Okay, everybody open your envelopes now." We opened ours, and it was either a redirection letter or it was a "yes, you've been accepted." Anne Marie and I opened our envelopes, looked at each other, and burst into tears because we'd both been accepted. The upperclassmen who were in the back of the chapel came forward, put their arms around us, and said, "It's okay, you can always apply again. You have to apply usually at least twice, if not 3 times, before you get in." And we're like, "No, we got in." So it's been quite an adventure. I'm not lost, I'm exploring. I've been exploring things my whole life. So when I began ministerial school, I got my really kind of first real Bible that I really worked with, and I wrote this in the front. This was written July the 20th, 1992. My covenant. I commit myself and my life to the path of unconditional love and to the way of the peaceful heart. I hereby covenant to truly be one who listens to inner guidance of the heart and who willingly responds with, "Here I am, send me." I hereby covenant to truly hold thy people in my heart and to willingly walk with them side by side in the spirit of love, light, and truth wherever that path may lead. I hereby covenant to truly grow in depth and breadth of prayer, faith, and spirit all the days of my life, and to openly and lovingly share that transformation with those whom God brings into my life and into my heart. And thereto I dedicate all that I am, all that I can be, all that I will be, body, mind, heart, and soul, to the path of the Christ and to the way of true unity and love. In hopeful faith, I signed it with the initial P. I wanted to read it straight from there. So that was how I started. Swore I'd never do church. I can still hear Spirit giggling in the background. I'm one of a handful of classmates who are still serving and doing church. So my classmates think this is absolutely hysterical. They love it. And so I did church in Texas. I did Denton. And then I was part of a team of ministers in Richardson. And then our best friends, Sarah and Jim, moved to Port Townsend. And one morning, Lane and I were having coffee, and I said, last night, I had this dream that it's time to go visit Sarah and Jim in Port Townsend. And I said, can we do that? And he said, well, sure, let's start planning. And I said, well, what I got was, see if you can guest speak at the Unity Church, so you can just get to know the people that are up there. And because we love to meet Unity people all over the place. And so I finished my coffee. I went in and opened my computer. And there in the in basket was an email from the Association of Unity Churches. And it said, Unity Port Townsend. Okay. Click on it and open it up. And it's from David DePreet, who was the board chair at the time, saying, we are looking for guest speakers at Unity of Port Townsend. We're between ministers. If you'd like to come guest speak, please email me or call me, and all the contact information. So I did it. And I got to come speak. And the very first time I spoke here, it was the outdoor service at the DePreets. And there was a group that was, Ramona and Daniel. And in the course of the service, they did this beautiful song about willing embrace. Here are some of the words. I actually did that in my article, my first article before I even came. We come together to be the answer, to be the vessel of love, receive light from above, to be the dance and the dancer. It's only love, seeking love in our willing embrace, our willing embrace. And that song, when I was praying one afternoon about what to do, that song clicked on the CD player and started playing. I had a few hints along the way. Another one that's really interesting, Lane and I have discovered that before we actually met at Unity at the karaoke night, was an interesting way to meet, huh? Was that there were two parties we were both supposed to be at, and one of us had to miss each one for a reason, and we were also at the same Neil Diamond concert within seats of each other before with ex-partners. But we realized that like Spirit was kind of going, come on, come on. Well, when I was in Texas, I used to get a new printed newsletter, how's that for the olden days, from Unity Central, and they would list all of the listings of the churches that were looking for ministers. One of them I read, and I was like, oh my gosh. I said, Lane, are you willing to leave Texas? Yeah, right. And I knew it wasn't the right time, but there was something in this call from this place. And so I set it aside, and I thought, I'm going to see what happens with that. And so I get the next newsletter, and I find out that one of my classmates and his wife just took the position, and it was Julie Montag and Roy Ayers taking Unity Port Townsend. I had the call for a minister in my desk and in my prayer pile for the ministers that came before me. You guys were tickling my heart way in advance. And then we came up, and we did the outdoor service, and I spoke 2 Sundays. And the second Sunday, the board came up and said, we're searching for a minister. We've got a number of applicants, but people have been calling all week. Will you please apply? And I was like, oh, I don't see how I can do that right now. Miriam Holcomb, who earlier in the service said, don't forget me, was an artist. She loved rainbows, for those of you who remember Miriam. And she came up to me at the outdoor service, and she said, you're our minister. And I said, well, I am for today. I'm just a guest speaker. She said, no, you're our minister. And she said, have you applied? And I went, no. She said, well, you have to. You're our minister. And I'm like, well, I need to talk to my husband. You're our minister. And she said, Port Townsend is like Brigadoon. It calls its own. And against all odds, if you're supposed to be here, just like that Scottish village that appears out of the mist, and if you're supposed to be there, you get to go with them when they go back into the mist, Port Townsend will call you. And she said, you just watch and see. So we go back to Texas. Lane and I navigate, what are we going to do? Are we going to apply? I had some health challenges, which for him was like, oh, we need to stay put. And it's like, no, I need to explore. If I've got limited time, I've got to do the most with it. And so we went to a counselor who was a Methodist minister that was wonderful, that we would see sometimes. And he said, why don't you explore the possibility? And he said, I normally don't do this, but I need to tell you all a story. And he said, my wife and I had been married for years. Both of our kids were either in college or high school. We were done. And she said, I want another baby. And for a long time, she kept saying, I want another child. I know we're supposed to have another child. And he's like, no way. And so finally, she kept at him. I told Lane when we married, at some point, we've got to live somewhere other than Texas. And so the opportunity comes here. Well, what he said, he said, we went to a Methodist minister and decided, okay, let's just see what happens. So he said, we'll go off birth control for 6 months. And if you get pregnant, we'll have the child. If you don't, you go back on birth control, and we never talk about this again. She got pregnant the first month. We were pregnant with Port Townsend as soon as we met all of you. And so up we came. And the calling from Port Townsend that I found that was in the newsletter that called, all the other applicants as well. The beauty of Port Townsend is unique, and just as unique are the residents of this small seaport community. How true is that? Truer words were never spoken. Our congregation is characterized by individuals who've walked a variety of spiritual paths and are seeking ways to blend all of life's experiences into an understanding of ourselves as spiritual beings. Unity of Port Townsend has been blessed by ministers who've made the teachings of Jesus Christ more real, comprehensive, and useful to us on a day-to-day basis. This is an area of growth and understanding which we wish to perpetuate through Sunday services and classes. This church seeks a minister who will teach us, inspire us, and journey with us in our quest to realize the truth of who we are. We relish the chance to join with our next minister to co-create a whole that is far greater than the sum of its parts. How could I not say yes? And Lane said yes, and we've never looked back, and our kids have said, we've never seen either of you happier than since you've been here in Port Townsend. And 20 years ago, I'll let you all know that before this, I never stayed at the same job for more than 4 or 5 years. Ever. And so this is a spiritual match and calling, and you truly are spiritual family. And the thing that I got to share with you this morning when I was in my office is I'm going to share something that's part of my every single Sunday here. These are images that are postcards that I blew up, put in frames that I found at the children's hospital recycle shop for $3 a frame. And these are images from the chapel at the bottom of the hill at St. Balm, where Mary Magdalene's cave is, which of course is one of my favorite places. And I picked 3 of the postcards to blow up, and they're on the wall of my office. You can come look at them anytime you'd like. And I use them to inspire me every single Sunday. Before I step out of my office, I commune with these. So the first one is Magdalene here, and Jesus is in the distance. She's standing on like the front porch of a house. This reminds me to walk through the world and to be present with all of you and with anyone that life sends my way. This is about living presence and being the embodied faith that you seek to express. The next one is Magdalene up at the top, up at the entrance to the cave, high above the valley, where the house is down below. And this one reminds me to always try and take the higher view of whatever is going on, to open to receive the light and the wisdom that I never would have come up with on my own, and to receive that from that higher viewpoint. I saw Carlos Santana interviewed this morning, and they said, your music is so much a part of who you are. It's not just something you do. And they said, how do you view it? And he said, I see people as flowers in a garden. The water is the music, and I'm the hose. Isn't that great? So this is being a channel of that divine flow. And then the third image is Mary Magdalene surrounded with the angels. And this reminds me that I'm not doing it. I'm willing to be a channel for those blessings, to be part of that willing embrace, and that I'm blessed because I feel those spiritual presences all around. I felt them since I was a child, which I am so grateful for. And they're here, and I call these in to be with all of you when things are going on. So those 3 images inspire me to be embodied, to seek the higher view, and to open to miracles and to all of the wonderful things that come beyond. So I have to say thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me a home, for giving me family and friends, for taking the calling that I had all those years ago and turning it into something that I've dedicated my life to and will continue. I'm not retiring. I'm not celebrating 20 and retiring, because Spirit says, oh, honey, you got lots more to do. So to have this marker and to realize 20 years is just amazing. And so I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. And I am so, so grateful. And we're going to do a song in a minute that's one of my favorites. This one, actually, I said we've got to do when we were in the process of deciding what we were going to do about this calling I had here and our life in Texas. Lane and I were curled up in our California king bed, wouldn't fit in our bedroom up here on a bed, watching a concert. And this song came on and played. And Lane turned around, and I was there just sobbing, going, I want to dance. And he got it. His heart heard me. And so this song was the moment that he and I said yes, not only to the dance of each other, but to the dance of all of you. So please stand, and we're going to do I Hope You Dance, which is just one of my favorites.
I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always have that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might seem a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Oh, I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Oh, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you're dancing. I hope you're dancing. I pray you're dancing. I hope you dance.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We should have put Kleenexes in the offering baskets.
So this is a time in their service where we receive the offering. So while you're preparing that, I'm bringing back from Unity Village a 500-piece jigsaw
I
puzzle
love puzzles. I love puzzles.
of the newly constructed labyrinth.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if this is something that goes on in your packet for your boat. I doubt it. You got
No,
that kind
no,
of room.
I don't have that much room. I'm
But-
taking clothes.
Each one of these pieces represents each one of us here.
Oh,
All that have come through us already and those yet to be.
oh, David, thank you. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I promise I'll put it together as soon as I get home.
Don't
Oh,
start it
that- I
before you
love-
leave. That's all I got
I
to say.
love what it symbolizes. Thank you. Oh, perfect gift. Oh, oh.
I hauled that back almost a year ago now.
I say, I'm
Find the right
impressed that you
time.
got that back.
Perfect. All right, so, our offering, that's what we're doing here. What a beautiful tribute. Thank you. That was a perfect song. Wasn't that a perfect song?
Beginning.
Yeah, I can recall being on the board when David and I and others drafted up that letter that we sent around. How are we going to frame this wild group of cats, some of whom were not playing well in the sandbox at the time? How are we going to frame that in such a way that would be inviting for somebody to manifest itself? Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with words, can't it? Yeah, and I won't segue too far, but as she said, Julie and Roy were predecessors. And they were, when I first got involved with Unity, I don't know, 30 years ago, I suppose, in Port Townsend, there was a small group over in Uptown. They had a place. And they had lost the minister, and they had lost the congregation as a result. I walked in and never walked out. Over time, it evolved and evolved and evolved. We finally got to the place where we could afford a minister, a resident minister. And we got two. We got Roy and Julie. Well, they were wonderful speakers, but there was something that was something incongruent. And they were beautiful people, so I don't want to put this on them. But Spirit had a different way for us to be, I think. And this is only looking in retrospect. The whole thing ended up in some kind of a kerfuffle, and the church disintegrated. It broke apart into two pieces. And so as that happened, Roy and we couldn't afford Roy and Julie, and so they exited. And then we had a chance to kind of regroup, rethink, reform, revision. And we went through a process. The Unity Central came out and made sure that we were spiritually attuned enough to stand on our own 2 feet. And so we passed all those tests, and we were able to put out this letter for a calling for a minister, of which Pam responded. And I could just recall sitting around those tables, drafting that letter, and how do we explain that we just went through this huge kerfuffle? I mean, really huge. Questions of our faith, our commitment, all those kinds of things came into balance. And then to word it in such a way that we wanted to be inviting, and that we're willing to take on the challenge, whatever that looks like, to be inviting. And so Spirit sent His Pam, and the rest is history, as they say. So with that, let us take out our offering and bless it as we do here each week, knowing that it is really a statement and a covenant with Spirit. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And a gratitude song that is really true. Already on their way.
Already on their way. Already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings. Already on their way. Already on their way. Already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings. Already on their way. And they're already on their way. Already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings. Already on their way. Already on their way. Already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings. Already on their way.
Yes, they're
Already on their way. Already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings. Already on their way.
Sweet, sweet Spirit, Mother, Father, God. Unknown blessings already on their way. Living proof the Spirit is in the driver's seat right here. And the Spirit's in the driver's seat for each one of us when we do as Pam did. Open up. Say, yes, I am willing. I am able. I am me, and I stand here not alone, but with Spirit at my side. So we send these forward with that intention, that each person on the planet may find that place within themselves where Spirit is standing right next to them. Say, I am willing. I'm willing to stand up to the injustices, to all the human frailties, and be a light. If only for one other person, but be the light. So we send these gifts with that intention as we shine our light, creating heaven on earth in our lifetime. And so it ends.
So
Amen.
it is, and so it is.
All right. We've got a couple of announcements, so don't get too excited. Okay, so before everybody gets ready to potluck itself. Now today is a potluck for those of you that go, oh, geez, I didn't bring anything. This is like the loaves and fishes. You won't go away hungry and you don't need to do anything. So just plan on sticking around. We're having a potluck reception. It's going to be down the hall in the hearth room. The food is going to be placed down in the hall in the hearth room and the utensils and all that in the hallway. And then we'll go down the hallway, take our food and go into the hearth room and sit down and have a meal together. That's the easy part. The hard part is implementing that. Because what's going to happen is we're going to have a pile of people down there and it's going to loop on around itself. So, and short of sending you around the building through the warehouse to the beginning of the table, which may happen. Anyway, I need, let's see, probably maybe 5 hands of people who will be willing to carry a plate of food or 2 down to the end of the hall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's enough. So, Claudia, raise your hand, Claudia, conscripted during that last song to be the trail master for this event in terms of the kitchen. So those of you that raise your hands and no more, please go towards the kitchen. She will hand you a plate and take it down the hall to the table down there. And that's all. And drop your plate off, and then come back into the mingle part. That should be easy. That's not a lot of people. As soon as that's all done, then we'll say, okay, and we'd really prefer to kind of go single file-ish down there, because it's going to be it's a tight turn to make the corner to get all the food. So just know that's the case. And I'm going to leave all the rest to Spirit to figure it out. And this is part of a spiritual, by the way, a spiritual practice. It is said that heaven and earth and all the cosmos was created through a big bang. That thought of spirit, that place that it happens. And there was a country western singer who talked about this in a song, about the Big Bang. And he said, all this chaos makes perfect sense. So just know that all of this chaos will make perfect sense. Okay, we got Pam's thing here. Next Sunday, so Pam's leaving for 4 weeks. I'm leaving for 3 weeks. So things will change up around here for the next 3 weeks. We've got wonderful speakers. I'm going to be back to speak on the 22nd. Pam will be back on the 29th. So anyway, so just you'll see Bianca's going to handle the podium. We got other people filling in. So we got exciting things happening. And on the 24th, Dr. Shea will be here. And he's a medical intuitive. And he's quite the individual. He's going to, his talk will be about his journey to that place. And then he's got a workshop established as well as readings for individuals. In addition, he's a medical intuitive for animals. So, and here we will tee that up on next Sunday, how that's going to happen. But he's going to have sessions to bring your pets for.
He is going to do a Tuesday evening animal healing workshop.
Okay,
for people
Tuesday
who
evening.
are interested.
Yeah, and there's the flyers out there that explains
Flyers with all of it.
all of that. There's also a sign-up sheet for the individual sessions. So that's going to be a really fun event with him. It should be really good. On the 30th, on a Saturday afternoon, is a concert with Richard Russell and friends. There's also flyers on that. That is really it's an exciting musical opportunity. So, and it's afternoon, so we don't have to worry about interfering with whatever's going on that evening. So put that on your consciousness. There's flyers out there. There is a fee for that. I think it's $22 or $25 at the door, something like that. Prayer chaplains, if you're a prayer chaplain, next Sunday following service, We're going to have a prayer chaplain meeting, and Beverly's going to be the person that's going to be in charge of that. So she will make sure, sign up. Those on Zoom, 24th is time to be able to sign up. In addition, we have the two prayer chaplains holding the High Watch today, Kaya and Ida, and they are available for personal prayer following service. It's going to be a little bit noisy, but find one of those two, and they'll be happy to be with you in prayer in the prayer chapel. Prayer box back in the room. Your prayer requests will be held by the church, and we send it on to Silent Unities for 30 days additional prayer. In addition, we got 3 different meditation groups going on simultaneously and sometimes independently here. It's on the website, so check it out, ptunity.org. With that, I think that's all we need for the thing. Okay, let's form a circle. Well, we can make a big circle around the sanctuary. I'll just
There we go, yeah.
I'll just wait.
Yeah, just wait, buddy.
A big circle.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
And we know the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And we're going to take a minute to make this more efficient, David. Let us gather and bless the food, the potluck, everyone who prepared it, everyone who's going to partake of it. Blessing upon blessing upon blessing to the potluck celebration.
And blessings upon travels.
Blessed and
Safe
blessing
travels.
and party. Woo!
Okay, kitchen crew, you're on.
Wow, listen to it. Listen.